Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing concepts related to the candlestick graph. The candlestick graphs, they are simple, easy to interpret, are not very difficult, though for the first time viewers, these graphs can look slightly puzzling. So today we decode a candlestick graph and try to answer one of the questions. Okay, let's have a look. Rohit is a stockbroker who does one-day trading, which means that he buys stocks in the morning and sells them during the day. Okay, so he's an intraday trader. So he'll buy stocks in the morning and sell them in the evening. He invests in 7 different stocks on 7 different days. Okay. Units of the stocks are called shares. The shares of every stock purchased by Rohit from day 1 through day 7 are consecutive integral multiples of 10 in the given order. So consecutive integral multiples of 10 is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. The candlestick chart depicts the prices of these 7 stocks on the day that each one was purchased. The top and the bottom end of the line respectively indicate the maximum and the minimum prices of the stock at any time of that day. So for example, day 1, when we see day 1, the stock that he purchased, the minimum price was rupees 10 and the maximum price that we see is rupees 50. Similarly, on day 2, the minimum price of the stock is again rupees 10 and the maximum price of the stock is rupees 60. Fair? The horizontal edges of the rectangle correspond to the stock's opening and closing prices. So fine. Here we have the stock's opening and closing prices. The closing prices or the opening prices. So these ends of the line. Fine. If the rectangle is white, then the opening price is lower. In this case, the opening price is lower than the closing price. But if the rectangle is shaded, then the closing price is lower than the opening price. Okay. Rohit buys the shares of the stocks at the opening time 9 a.m. and sells them each at 6 p.m. Perfect. So let's look at day 1. On day 1, what we see is the opening price is the rectangle is shaded. That means the opening price is higher than the closing price. For example, here on day 1, the opening price is, if we see the figure, it is close to 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. So the opening price, let's take day 1. Day 1, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7. So opening price on day 1 is the opening price, since it's a shaded rectangle, the opening price is higher than the closing price. So opening price would be 40 and the closing price that we have 24. Similarly, day 2, it's a white rectangle. That means the opening price is lower than the closing price. The opening price corresponds to rupees 20. The closing price corresponds to rupees 40. Okay, so here we have 20, we have 40. Similarly, day 3, if we see, it is 40 and 60. Again, it is white. So 40, 60. Day 4 is black. That means the opening price is higher. So it would be 50 would be the opening price and 40 the closing price. Similarly, day 5, the opening price is, again, it's a shaded rectangle. So the opening price is higher, 30, 10. On day 6, it's a white. So the opening price is lower, 10, 30. Fine. Whereas again, on day 7, 10 and 20. So we have the share prices on all the given days of whatever stock he has purchased. Now, the more important part that comes, Further information that Rohit buys shares of each stock in a distinct consecutive integers less than 100 in the integral multiples of 10. So you can buy on day one consecutive integrals. So you can buy day one 10, 20, 30, 40. So on, let's take case one. We can have case one, case two, case three. You can buy shares day one, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70. Or it can be something like this: 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Or it can be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, or 90. So these are the possible cases of him buying in consecutive multiples of 10, right? If Rohit had a loss on one of the days. Now let's take the situation of Rohit having a loss on one of the days. On which of the days does Rohit have a loss? Okay. So Rohit has a loss on day 5. Okay. Rohit has a loss on day 4. And Rohit has a loss on day 1. Okay. If Rohit had a loss of 400 on a day in a week, if Rohit had a loss of 400 on a day in a week, then what was the total loss profit earned by Rohit at the end of each day of that week? Okay. So what we need to figure out is, if Rohit has made a loss on a particular day, what day can it be, or which case can it correspond to? Now, Rohit has made a loss particular share 16 rupees on day 1. He has a loss of 10 rupees on day 2 and a loss of 20 rupees on day 5 per share. So what we now have to see is, on which of the days does Rohit make a loss of 400 rupees? Now case 1 tells me that on day 1 he buys 10 stocks. Day 2, this is day 3, this is day 4, this is day 5, this is day 6, this is day 7. Okay. Now, when we look at day 1, case 1, on the first day, he makes a loss of 16 rupees. Fine. So let's say we consider case 1, day 1. We don't know which of the days he has made a loss of 400 rupees. So that is our hint to solving the question. If we consider case 1 and day 1 being the day he has made a loss of 400 rupees, can it be case 1 with day 1 where he makes a loss of 400 rupees? Here, if we see, day 1 he makes a, so this can at best be 160. This can be 320. This can be 480. Because he has made a loss of 16 rupees on day 1. Here, he makes a profit of 20 rupees. So that is not considered. Here also, he makes a profit of 20 rupees. That is also not considered. Day 4, he's making a loss of 10 rupees. Okay. Day 5, he's making a loss of 20 rupees. Day 6, he's making a profit of 20 rupees. And day 7, he's again making a profit of 10 rupees. So we know. Now, let's look at day 3. Here, he can make a loss of 400 rupees. He's buying 40 shares. 40 into 10 is 400. If we were in case 2, he would have made a loss of 500 rupees. And here, he would have made a loss of 600 rupees. This is something that corresponds to our equation. Now, if we look at day 5, here the loss would have been corresponding to 1,000 rupees. Here the loss would have corresponded to 1,200 rupees. And here the loss would have corresponded to 1,400 rupees. Right? So the only place where we see him making a loss of 400 rupees is in case 1 and day 4. Now, once we know this, we have technically solved the question. Okay, so now let's see. What does the question ask? If Rohit had a loss of rupees 400 on a day in a week, then what was the total loss or profit earned by Rohit at the end of each day in that week? What was the total loss or profit earned by Rohit at the end of the week? So if we are looking at case one, day one, he's making a loss of 160 rupees. Day two, he's earning a profit 20 into 20. That is 400 rupees. Day three, again, he makes a profit of 20 rupees per share and he's buying 30 shares. To 20 into 30 is 600. Day four, he makes a loss. That is minus 400 rupees. Day five, he makes a profit. He again makes a loss. Day five, he makes a loss of 20 rupees. That is minus 1000 rupees. Day six, he makes a profit of 20 rupees, 60 shares, 1200. And day seven, he makes a profit of 10 rupees for 70 shares. It is 700. Now, let's add it up. 400 plus 600, 1000. 1000 plus 1200, 2200, 2200 plus 700. So he has a profit of 2900 and a loss of 160, 1400 minus 1560. That is, so if we see 13, so we get our answer as 13. Hope all of you have understood the question. In case doubts remain, do message. We'll like to answer each of your queries. Thank you.